morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I would like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with PoE Texas. Today's host is Tyler Andrews, and he is their CEO, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Tyler will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Tyler, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Julie, thank you for that introduction and for giving us another opportunity to discuss Power over Ethernet with your audience. To date, on the Microcom channel, we have, let me pull this up. We have covered everything from the fundamentals of Power over Ethernet to what's new happening in a $490 billion industry, and we've even covered our specifiers guide. Today, I'm going to cover one of our products that you've likely seen myself or Maria use many times. I use it on an almost daily basis, and it's one every technician should have in their toolbox. It is the PoE tester. This is such a handy device, and yes, I'm definitely biased here, but I haven't found anything like it for anywhere near the price on the market. It's a surprisingly helpful tool in troubleshooting and managing your PoE installations. So I'm going to let Maria explain to you what the tool is and how it works. And when I come back, I'll show you some helpful hacks for solving common problems with PoE.
Today's video comes as another request from some of our subscribers. We read the comments about seeing a more detailed application video for the PoE Tester Gen 2 and thought it was a great idea. So in today's video, I'll go over how to use each function of the Gen 2 tester and hopefully answer some of y'all's questions. Let's jump on in.
I'll start with an unboxing. There is some basic overall product info on the back of the box. Once you open it up, the first thing you should notice is the manual. I won't be going over this booklet in detail since I'm demoing each function, but you can find a detailed online manual in the description box. Now let's take a look at the tester itself. You'll notice the LCD screen in the middle, a spot labeled PoE, a spot labeled DC, with each corresponding port. A female RJ45 for input PoE, and a female 5.5 by 2.1 millimeter barrel for input DC voltage. And on the bottom, we have another female RJ45 port and another female DC barrel, which is for your load side or your powered PoE device. Notice the ergonomic grip as well that can fit easily into your hand with comfort. On the back of the tester, you'll notice Simulate PoE Device with an option for on and off. I'll go over this function later in the video, but this is an important feature for the tester. This also comes with a male-to-male 2.1 millimeter DC cable for your testing needs. As a brief overview, this tester can be used to measure the power consumption and performance of any DC power supply, as well as activate any port on an IEEE 802.3 AF, AT, or BT switch. It is also PoE powered, so there are no batteries required. It can read a PoE voltage range of 12 to 57 volts and a DC range of 3.5 to 56 volts. It is rated for 802.3 BT readings, so for mode A and B, it can read 0 to 1500 milliamps with a 2% accuracy, and the DC connector can read 0 to 5 amps, also with a 2% accuracy. When testing mode A, this Gen 2 can detect both polarity types. However, if using reverse mode B, you will need additional cable accessories. To demonstrate a power supply reading, I'll be using 24 volts DC. Once you connect your power supply to an AC outlet, simply connect the male DC barrel into the DC port on the source side or the top of the tester. Once connected, you'll notice the screen display 24 volts DC with no power to device connected. To look at the power draw, simply connect your power to device into the load side of the tester and notice the screen start to scroll with the wattage and amperage your device is pulling. To test a different range, I'll do a 56 volt DC power supply. You'll notice again that once we connect the power supply, the screen turns on showing 56 volts is available with no powered device. Then as soon as we connect our load, the power consumption is displayed. Now we can talk about the Simulate PoE device feature on the back of the tester. This is an important feature on the tester because it allows you to activate any port on your PoE switch or injector. You will see that simply connecting the category cable from your PoE port into the source side of the tester does not turn the screen on. However, if we flip the Simulate PoE device toggle on, which activates the negotiation, the AT4 injector then recognizes the tester as a PoE powered device and displays the voltage available. On the other hand, we have a passive 24 volt would be PoE source with the toggle turned off and the display turns on immediately. The same goes for this passive mode A 48 volt PoE injector. With the toggle turned off, the display turns on right away. Now I'm going to demonstrate how the tester can be used to test 802.3 BT power. To demonstrate this, I'll use one of our high-powered PoE splitters. This can output 12 volts DC up to 72 watts. It accepts 802.3 BT or PoE++ power input. For my power sourcing equipment today, I'm going to use a GBTS-10-8-55V 370W PoE switch. This is one of our PoE switches that can support 802.3 BT power for up to 8 devices. It supports either pre-standard UPoE or 802.3 BT devices. There is a toggle depending on which type of power you're testing. So you have UPoE or 802.3 BT. For today's purposes, I want to make sure I switch it over to 802.3 BT power. To begin, we want to make sure that we turn the Simulate PoE device toggle on. Then you'll just connect the cable coming from whichever PoE port you're testing into the source side of the tester and wait for the tester to power on. As you can see, this shouldn't take more than a few seconds, and it does display that the power is outputting on both modes A and B with an output voltage of 54.4. Now we can start testing for the 802.3 BT power draw. Once I connect my powered device to the load side of the tester, you'll notice that the power draw starts to scroll on the screen. One important feature to note when using this Gen 2 tester for 802.3 BT testing is that in order to test up to PoE++ power, you'll want to make sure the Simulate PoE device toggle is turned off so that the tester is in passive mode. As I slowly increase the load from our 12 volt high powered splitter, we'll notice that the wattage draw on the PoE tester increases as well. I stopped the power draw at about 62 watts to stay within the capacity of our load cell tester, but you can see that the Gen 2 tester kept a steady reading as the current draw increased.
So now that we've got a good basis for understanding what the PoE tester is and how it works, I'm going to show you a couple of handy hacks for troubleshooting your PoE solution. So one of the biggest uses we've found for this device is to determine whether an IP camera is on and reachable through the network. Security cameras do a great job hiding their status, to the point that many of them really don't show you whether they're powered on or not. Unless there's some LED indicator light, the only ways I know to check whether a camera's on is by doing this, which should turn on the night vision and makes me look like an idiot, or by throwing a PoE tester into the circuit like this and see the camera is starting to draw power. By the way, this is why we made this PoE device battery free. The tester will likely be sitting in your toolbox for more than a month or two, waiting for you to run into a situation like this. With all the other testers I know that rely on batteries, of course, the battery's dead when you need it for just 5 minutes. And you don't have a spare battery that's charged up, so you wander around asking people if they have a battery or tell your customer you have to leave to go get one. Not great. But let's move on to hack 2. The haunted switch. Do you run across the situation where one or a couple of devices on a small network always seem to randomly shut down? All those device manufacturers claim it's not their device causing the issue, and the switch manufacturer tells you his device is working fine. So it's either got to be a shoddy device somewhere, or a poltergeist has inhabited your network and is now haunting and tormenting you. Well, one common cause for switches and devices to operate erratically is that someone has overloaded the power on a switch. Did you know that it's really common for a 4-port PoE Plus switch to only have enough total power budget to run 2 ports on PoE Plus? And most of those switches will just randomly shut down ports without a lot of explanation when they run out of power. So how can you know if that's a potential issue? At least for DC power devices, the DC side of the PoE tester will tell you how much power you're drawing from the power supply and determine whether the switch is overloaded, like this. Finally, let's tackle dealing with bad work from someone else. Have you ever gone to a job site with just a simple task of adding a VoIP phone or camera to a network or a patch panel and only find yourself digging around, plugging into multiple ports, checking which ports are live, having to call people just to know which ports in the building have PoE enabled? Because of course nobody marks which ports are live with PoE, even if they mark them at all. The PoE tester makes short work of connecting to a port and determining which port is live in a network. It's very fast and it's very easy to do. In the end, there are a million ways you could use a PoE tester. We keep a pile of them available on our test bench because we use them so often. And just remember, I'm not only the president, but I'm also a client. Thank you, PoE tester. So I've given you a lot of hacks and I hope you found them helpful and useful. You can tell us what you've come up with and how you use a PoE tester. Now, when you're ready to learn more, we have live experts right here in Austin, Texas to answer any questions you may have and help you pick the right solution for your project. You can reach us at, throw that up on the screen, success@poetexas.com, or talk to a real person at 512-479-0317. And we always look forward to talking with you, whether you call us just for technical support or just need a good barbecue recommendation. We're happy to help. So with that, I'll remind you that you can find more on these topics in our technical center on our website, on YouTube, or by speaking with your own PoE expert. So with that, Julie, I have covered our webinar for today. So back to you.
Thank you very much, Tyler, for that wonderful presentation. And of course, I've got some questions for you. Let's go ahead and get started. Here we go with the first question. Can you go over the warranties on the PoE tester, and is it a full guaranteed replacement?
So we have a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. So you buy the PoE tester, you find it doesn't work for you, you can send it back to Microcom or us, you get it returned. For the manufacturer's warranty, you get a 1-year manufacturer's warranty If for any reason it doesn't work, you can reach out, we can get it replaced as a full replacement. And then if you, and I probably shouldn't publicize this, but if you read online, you can sign up for an extended 3-year warranty for our products just by going and making sure you register the product, and that'll give you 3-year extended warranty. That would include replacement, as long as this, we don't cover damage, smashing it, running it over by trucks, but any other kinds of problems, we take care of our customers.
Sounds really good, Tyler. Thank you so much for that. Especially you can't run it over by trucks.
Hey, I only say because I've done it to my own equipment, and I brought it in. I'm like, can we save it? And they're like, no, that one's kind of gone.
Yep, I get you. Thank you so much. Okay, the next question here. It sounds like it may be a follow-up. Will you upgrade this version in the near future that will be battery operated?
No, that is a great question. We intentionally will not add batteries to this because of the problem of battery failure and batteries falling out. Right, when I mean falling out, like failing to work, I've had testers that I've used for or attempted to use, but every time I put it in my toolbox and then I pull it out, every time I pull it out, the battery's dead and I have to replace the battery every time, which basically would mean I have to either carry batteries with me, or I have to make sure to remember to check the batteries are live on each device before I leave the shop, which just never happens because, you know, I don't use it every time we leave the office. So we don't do battery, we're not going to upgrade 2 batteries. Now we do plan to continue to upgrade the PoE tester. We are planning on coming out in the next few months with a Gen 2.5, which will increase the power monitoring from type 3 PoE to type 4 PoE. And then we already have plans for in the future a model that'll actually do logging. So you could log your data and it will communicate wirelessly so that you could put it in place, monitor it, and remote access it through a phone or a device. Those are all kind of down the road, but that's where we would continue to develop the product. Probably not going to add batteries. We're just not big battery people.
Thank you, Tyler, for the answers to those questions. I appreciate that so much. And we've got some more here for you. Let's see, let me read this one. The PoE tester, does it have any power limitations, or is it a max of 56 volts?
It does. That is a great question. It will do up to 60 volts. And then the power depends on whether you're going through the PoE side. We maxed it out. It's got a design tolerance of about 100 watts on the PoE side. And I think it is something like 5 amps. Don't quote me on that one. That's a good question. But I think it's something like 5 amps on the DC side. So you can get above 100 watts on the DC side, but we maxed it out at 100 watts on the PoE side. So I would triple check my manual. I apologize, I don't have those stats right here. I should have them, but I didn't put the stats for the max power out.
No, we're good. Thank you so much, Tyler. Couple more questions for you. Here we go. Will you also manufacture the PoE tester to support as a normal LAN tester, non-PoE, which seems like maybe a good idea?
That is a good question and a great suggestion. It depends on what you want to do with LAN testing. It is one thing you could do. A LAN tester, a very common one, is just a cable tester, and that just rings out, you know, conductor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they see on both ends whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're probably not going to produce one of those just because, frankly, there are a lot of them out there that are very affordable, that are probably not going to add much value to that. What would probably be a good thing and a feature we could add in the near term is to see whether your device is negotiated 10, 100, or gigabit. That is a good suggestion. But I would love to get feedback from this audience. What LAN testing would you like? Are you looking for just data throughput, or are you looking for any kind of information on the data?
Okay, thank you. Maybe we'll get some more questions popping up here as we go along. Right now, the next question is there a limit on how long you can have the device plugged into a PoE device?
No, because it's battery free, it pulls a tiny bit of the PoE power to run itself. So you could leave it plugged in indefinitely and just monitor a port as long as you'd like.
Great, thank you. Next question. Is the product out of the box ready to go, or do they need configuration?
Ooh, fantastic question. It is plug and play. It is ready to go. You plug it in, you flip on the switch, and it will start telling you what kind of PoE you have. There's no plug-in, no configuration, no settings you have to set up and monitor. It's already pre-calibrated within the tolerances we set in the manual, which are very tight. So yeah, it's a plug and play, pull it out of your pocket, start using it kind of device. You don't have to spend hours setting it up. We're not going to ask you to set up an account or, put in a credit card number. Works right out of the box.
Great, here we go with the next question. Thank you, Tyler, for that. Would you ever make a tester that runs on 5-volt DC USB Type-C so technicians can use phone chargers?
Ooh, that's a great question. So an important feature here with this PoE tester in particular is it uses PoE and it's monitoring PoE. So you have to have PoE to monitor the PoE. So there's really no need to get it to charge off of a phone charger or USB-C. As long as you've got PoE in the line, it'll work. And it's monitoring PoE, so it's not much use plugging it into a non-PoE line. That's a great question. And then if you're looking for good USB-C testers, there are USB-C testers out there, but I don't think that was the point of the question. But yeah, it doesn't require you to use a phone charger because it works right off the PoE from the PoE switch.
Thank you for that, Tyler. Last question here for you. You gave us a contact phone number, and if we go to your website, we can find everything from, calling someone to talking in person, technical support, customer service. Would that be included?
Yes. Yep. And when you call us, the good news is you're actually going to talk to a real person. We don't have a call center. We have technical experts who support that call line. So when you call in, you'll speak to a real person who's fully empowered to take care of your problems, answer questions. They can deal with hey, I've got a warranty claim versus, hey, I just don't need this anymore versus, hey, how do I use this? How do I get it working? It's the same person you're going to talk to. They can take care of all of your problems when you speak to them. And that's one of the things we work very hard on, that you're not going to get lost in some call center or in some automated phone loop.
That's great, because we've all done that and nobody likes it. No. And we always appreciate it, and we're always pressing 0 to get that person. Oh, maybe we'll press 0, get a live person. But at PoE Texas, it looks like it's no problem.
Yes, and we have our system is set up so that even if the phone doesn't pick up, we have a track record of a 1-hour response time during business hours. If you call me Sunday morning at 10 a.m., it might take a little bit longer, but during the day, during business hours, you'll get somebody within an hour, even if you have to leave a message.
That sounds really good, Tyler. Thank you so very much for answering all of those questions for us today. And also thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view the products mentioned that are shown here today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so you can view it again and again. Thank you so much, Tyler. We can see you on YouTube, and we'll see you next time we do a webinar with you. maybe in a couple months. So goodbye to my friend for now, and thank you again to everybody. So take it easy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.